My name's Todd Shaw, and I'm running for Council District 7. So, what I bring to the table is I was a planning commissioner for the city for 6 years, 3 of those as chair. So, I have heard hundreds of zoning plan amendment cases. I've also done a lot to change our codes and our comprehensive plan to make housing more affordable. But I think kind of a milestone for the time I was there was the Home Phase 1, where I was the chair. The draft came to us as a planning commission. We formed a working group, and we made great strides in improving that draft to make sure it created smaller units that were less costly. And we also added amendments such as council, you might want to consider gentrification, some kind of equity overlay in East Austin. We also were concerned and heard concerns from the public about short-term rentals, as well as infrastructure. Will the infrastructure be able to prevent flooding, in the neighborhoods? Those were concerns we heard from the public. So that was kind of a milestone for me. That was the last big thing I did before I left the Planning Commission. The follow-up Home 2, changes to compatibility, and ETOD, I fully support. We are in the middle of a housing crisis. If you look at nationally, it's part of the Democratic platform is to face this crisis head on. And we need to do the same here in Austin. We've made great strides. I'm the only candidate, however, that is advocating for let's go back and try to, again, modify our 1984 land code, which is outdated, and create something that really incorporates all the public input and will get a majority of council members voting on it. But that's one thing we left on the scrap table. There is so much more we could do to increase affordable housing, address gentrification, and make sure we have the infrastructure we need throughout the city to accommodate flooding and other risks due to climate change. So I've been in Austin a long time. I've gotten used to the sides of the roads, and I drive now down Bull Creek, and when I turn into 49th Street, it's a thinner road now, and I really have to slow down. Yes, the first few times it's irritating, but you realize what the design is. It's meeting its intended purpose. It's making me slow down. Vision Zero is very important. We have unnecessary deaths resulting from it's cars hitting people or bikes. These tools that our transportation group is using are effective, and they're being employed, I think, in very strategic locations initially where there's a lot of traffic. So I do support them. I do agree sometimes it is a little annoying, but they serve the purpose they were intended, and we're going to save lives. So I do agree with these changes. This is a huge issue. We've seen an uptick in the unhoused populations. I like going to the ECHO website, and one thing that really, really bothered me, if you look at the data, we talk about gentrification, but you can see the impacts if you look at the data. A large percentage of the people that are unhoused are from the gentrified areas in East Austin. You can see the impact of our housing crisis, housing affordability crisis on our community members. The things that I would say, we tried to get a consultant on board to help evaluate how we do this in a more organized, less chaotic way, because we are having trouble just coordinating all the different the groups that we need support from to both create the rapid rehousing that's necessary to get people off the street quickly, and also as a city create those permanent supportive housing that's needed to get people in homes. It'll take more funding, more help from the federal government. Our state isn't really helping us here, which is sad. But it will take more money and also cooperation from the community. So many times we try to spot a hotel for a permanent supportive housing location, and we get hit with lawsuits. And I really is trying to build the empathy and compassion among these neighborhoods. I know they have concerns, but these are neighbors that were displaced because of our housing crisis, and some of them need mental health services. And it's better that they're in a location, in a building, rather than out in the street. We've got to get them help if they need it. We got to get them housing. So I think this is a long-term effort, but it's going to take more money and a more coordinated effort to do this right.